All right, we're on the back nine of the Ryder Cup. This is hole number 11. Let's talk about the Ryder Cup, Bethpage Black, and the whiskeys we're getting ready to contend with. Welcome back to Pars and Pours. My name's Jim. This is a golf-centric whiskey channel, and we are now comparing some different ryes. This is the Ryder Cup, R-Y-E-D-E-R, and it takes off on the golf of the actual Ryder Cup itself. And what we are doing is we're going to have the Larrikin Single Barrel High Wheat Rye Whiskey go against Middle West Straight Rye Whiskey, and it's in the dark pumpernickel. Everybody's all aflutter about that one, right? So here's what we talk about. We talk about the Ryder Cup Actual, and we talk about Bethpage Black, and then we talk about the whiskeys. So let's get to this part. So some of the factoids, right? Some of the factoids that we like to give out is on the Ryder Cup is in 1987 was Europe's first win on American soil. It's kind of funny because this kind of attaches. It's amazing all the tentacles that are in whiskey and golf and all this stuff. So Europe's first win in 1987, as we know, in 1979 the Great Britain expanded to accept Europeans in order to make the golf more even. Okay, it was more even. So, and the first win was where? Columbus, Ohio at Muirfield Village, was just about an hour and some change north of me. Very nice property. One day I would like to be able to do it, but I doubt I'll ever see that. It's Jack's house, and it can play very, very difficult. Why is that the tentacle there? Well, Middle West is actually out of where? Columbus, Ohio. So there's your connection, right? So this one is a straight rye whiskey, dark pumpernickel, cask strength, and it comes in at 125.3. It is batch 1, so this is the one everybody was all about, and 62.65. Now, there's obviously pumpernickel in this one. It is 4-grain rye, handcrafted in small batches, aged in American white oak barrels, and proudly from Middle West. That's what it says. All right, Larrikin. Larrikin is in Lewisburg, Tennessee. It's literally on the back steps of Wild Turkey. It's really cool to be able to see that. And this is a veteran-owned Go Navy, right? This is our Navy buddy. And he's an Australian Navy guy that turned into a U.S. Navy guy and is now here in the States. This is a 65% rye, 35% wheat. It is 120.8, so the proofs aren't off too far from each other. Barrel 9, bottle number 6, aged 8 years. And as you can tell, I've been diving into this one just a little bit, and our cork was pathetic, and so we're just using it for this little bit here. And let's give it a pour. Now they both have some very interesting stories. I'm not as versed on Middle West because we haven't really done our due diligence in seeing all the distilleries in Ohio. That is coming along, but you'll see that most of the bottles are in this particular shape, except for some of their special stuff that actually comes in a box. They have bourbons, rye, straight ryes. They do have a plethora of different products that you can go and taste and sample and tour and the whole 9 yards. And some of it is extraordinarily good. So they have a bourbon out there that is one to put on the shelf to be sure. Larrikin again in Lewisburg, Kentucky, and it's a smaller unit, and they're not distilling their own stuff. They are going out and they're non-distiller producers, and they're putting a lot of stuff together. So they have the stuff made from rosewater, which is out there now. They also have their single barrel picks. The guy that is doing this and is picking all this stuff has a palate that just is hard to beat. And this high rye whiskey is all there. They also have a traditional rye that is, again, straight down the middle. If you like a rye, this is the place to go. A very nice place. I think they're getting to the point where they're going to start having their own bottle your own experience, and it is something to say. Larrikin is Australian slang for a person who disregards convention, a maverick. Larrikinism was a reaction to roles imposed by British officials on the young country of Australia. And there we go. And Greg Keeley is the guy that we're talking about there. Okay, so we've let the air get to it enough. We've talked about, Bethpage Black. While we're doing this, Bethpage Black. Hole number 11. Yes, hole number 11. Hole number 11 is a handicap number 14, so it's still in what we consider one of the easier holes to deal with, and it is a par 3. However, it's a 186 par 3. It's pretty straight away par 3. There's no tricks about twists and turns and stuff. However, the whole area is just absolutely 100% lined in sand traps. Are they in the way? Not really. It's going to be errant type shots. And again, in traditional Bethpage Black, the green is surrounded by sand, and the pits are just look to be naturally designed, because there's no shape or there's no rhyme or reason to it other than they have a larger moon where the big bay of the sand is at, and then it has fingers that go around, or peninsulas of sand that tend to go out to the sand trap. And I call them claws, so they might have like a crab influence, but that's where they're at. All right, since the Europe got their first American win in Ohio, and this is from Ohio, we are going to start with Middle West first. Okay, very sweet again. A couple more inhales. You feel the 120 proof on this. It's very mellow. I'm not getting a lot of layers per se. I get a lot of this, I've been calling it burnt brown sugar for lack of a nose note to call it. And there's a little bit of a mint I'm getting now. Yep, let's go with that one. It's sweeter up front. You get the little bit of the graininess in the back, almost to the minty stuff. Now in this one, the wheat is not predominant, but it does play part in the nose. There's the rye. It doesn't come off as very sweet, but it like a vanilla coated wheat and rye grain is what that comes away with. So very nice. Yeah, there's the sweetness. If we let these things air out some more, I would imagine they both would evolve into something that is very, very nice. There's the vanilla on that one as well. Yep, so what we're seeing is that it's kind of funny that they're very similar, with this pumpernickel on this and the other one is not. A little bit more barrel char. And again, it's a one layer. It's very nice. It's just one layer. So we'll leave it with that. All right. So this time we did the left on the last one. We're going to go with the right on this one. So right off the bat, it goes right to the front of the palate, and you get the rye portion of it. It is when you get that grain. So you get the rye grain, the peppery type flavors. It literally jumps the middle of the palate and goes straight to the back. And when it goes straight to the back, I would call it it's not a very hard finish. It just lets you know that, hey, you're there. But the flavoring stays all the way through that one. Let's try this. All right, back to Middle West. Yeah, so the more that this goes, the more this one evolves. Yeah, so this is the nose and the palate follow each other. This one is extraordinarily sweet onto the front. Almost kind of a drying sensation in the middle, and the same type of finish on the back. Almost coating-like. I said drying in the middle, but I'm getting this coating on the roof of my mouth that I wasn't getting before. So let's do it one more time before we establish what's going on here. Yep, this one is a it has a strong front palate. It bites you with the rye. The middle is now about the same as the front, and now it has a much stronger finish for a rye. But what I'm getting is the rye with this wheat overtone on it. And people say that the wheat is a sweeter one. I just don't get that in a lot of cases. It's a very good drink, but I'm getting this rye, and then you get the wheat, and then you get the finish. And that's exactly what it is, right? So, hey, you get what you bought. All right, let's try the last one. Let's try this one. Yeah, so this one doesn't, instead of giving you that rye spice, this one gives you a sweeter overtone into the front, into the middle, with a very, very light, with a lighter finish. Comes off a bit sweeter, comes off with the caramels, and you get the caramel with the rye spice as opposed to the wheat with the rye spice. So what we got here is on the nose. The noses were two different types of nose. When you have one with the wheat kind of background in it, and the other one you're talking about the pumpernickel, which gives it a different body, so to speak. And as we let it set out a little bit more, it evolved far, far faster than the Larrikin did. Now, the Larrikin is a very nice pour, to be sure. However, I'm going to give the nose to the pumpernickel Middle West rye product. Now, as far as the pours go, as far as the palate goes, you get exactly what the manufacturer says. You got your wheat, you got your rye. It's on the front. It gets all the way to the back. Very, very nice. There's no surprises in that one. Now, I was really wondering what pumpernickel was going to do versus the wheat, and we saw that it kind of mellowed it out a little bit, gave you a nice, easy sipping pour per se. With this one, with the wheat, I'm not off-put by it, but it's not one of my favorites. So I'm also going to give the taste to the palate to the Middle West. Right, the palate's going to go to the Middle West because of the different layers that it had, because of that caramel, because of the things that was going on. Now, as far as uniqueness goes, because we have 3 different categories, because the Ryder Cup has 3 different formats of play, we got to give uniqueness to my Navy buddy that's there, and because I know we've been down there, I've got several of his bottles on my shelf, and they are very, very nice. So it just happens that this one, we got the Columbus connection is happening, and happening strong. So Middle West is going on into the next bracket, and we'll see you on that one. So the next hole is hole number 12, and that's going to be a par 5. So we really want to see what's coming out there. So again, if you guys have any recommendations, please leave them in the show notes. Please like and subscribe so we can get the viewership up. And as always, we want you to save those pars, but share those pours.